Hi, I'm Carrie Blazer, the Divine Feminine, reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. Thank you for clicking on my clip. But I want to let you know that I have a free ebook linked below, my 6 Divine Feminine Self-Love Strategies. They will help you transform your emotional wounds into personal wisdom. And I take a multidisciplinary approach. I include the laws of physics, psychology, neuroscience, shamanism, mysticism. I went wild, okay? So men can understand and women can understand. There's something there for everyone because what I learned is when something's true, it's true in multiple places. All right, please like and subscribe and help me distribute my ebook to everyone for free by exploding my channel. Take care. Enjoy the clip. Bye. This is how cray it can get when healing from your trauma, okay? The fifth guy in my book, I call them my heroes because they mirrored my wounds back to me and I was successful at healing my trauma, bringing out my shamanic gifts. I mean, it was incredible. He is a 6'7" fire captain. Okay. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's perfect. Like, he's a little older than me. He's a couple years older. I could heal the firefighter. And this is like the best thing in my life. I had not remembered JC yet. Okay. And he's like this amazing decorated fire academy instructor. And so I had my first enlightenment experience while talking to him. And I came home and I sat in my recliner and I started vibrating really high. I'm like, zzz. And the next morning I barely ate, I barely slept, I barely drank. And the next morning I heard enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I have lived in Chinese Buddhist monasteries. I've been to the Mount Everest base camp. I stayed in a monastery in the I've been to these places where people experience enlightenment and no one told me it's an emotion. I never learned that. And so first what happened is my soul guided me to ask the universe, what do I need to learn? And this is when I was shown all the first responders. I'm like, well, they're all mentally ill. They got a mental health crisis. What about the family? I'm like, oh, they're messed up. The relationship. I'm like, everything's messed up. Take me back to the beginning. Okay, so there was God, and then what? Like, everything is messed up. But this is how I know that we all hit that rock bottom point to catapult us to expand our emotional range to include enlightenment. This was my kind of rock bottom point. And and I said, well, okay, God creates and orchestrates, and I'm an analyst. I used to work at Anthem Blue Cross doing risk and issue assessment. I'm an analyst. So I'm like, well, creation is feminine. Like, why are we ascribing creation, which is a feminine quality, to a masculine God and wondering why we have the patriarchy? I'm like, huh. I'm like, okay. So, and this is before I knew that I'm the reincarnation of Mary Magdalene. I had no clue. I'm just kind of like trying to solve my own problem here. Like, how do I value myself more because I keep attracting men into me who have multiple women? And so what's mirrored back to me is I don't value myself. Like, what is this problem I'm having? Like, what if we put divine feminine as equal to divine masculine and then mirror that in the family? So the woman is the creation, the emotional lead, doing that inner work, and that the man is the physical lead doing that outer work, and that they're equally important and equally valuable. I was basically asking the question, did the Christian worldview create the patriarchy? And it's a hard question to ask, but I have to ask it because my goal is to create a healthy society for myself and leave a much healthier society for my children and my grandchildren. And I have a master's degree in East Asian religious studies out of UCSB, a top-notch academic institution. So I was taught how to ask those difficult questions. And I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult. So I saw all that. I was like, whoa. And JC came through and was showing me some of what was going on, what I perceived to be going on in his life. Like, I don't have knowledge of his life yet. We haven't even talked yet. But what I was shown is he has 2 daughters. Before I even saw the picture, that he has a son and 2 girls just like me, and that he was having challenges at home. So, but I'm not confirming or denying what's happening there because he would have to speak for himself there. So that happened. And then I was shown all the fears that I had around my ex-husband and sexual abuse of my children because I had been so sexually abused as a child. And you can look all that up on my website. With, JC and I had quite a traumatic childhood together. Um, and after 3 days of vibrating super high, not eating, not drinking, I lost 12 pounds. In the middle of the night, I got so terrified about my daughters, I actually called the police. I called them back 15 minutes later saying, I don't think that happened. Like, I took it back. But that's how gnarly it was for me. And then my kids came over and took me to the doctor while they put me in the mental hospital. But no, and I'm like, no, I experienced enlightenment. It was enlightenment. No one knew what enlightenment is. No one could say, yeah, Carrie, that's what happened to you. So I had to go and figure it out. That's when I came upon the map of consciousness. And I really came upon Carl Jung, because this is the quote that I told my oldest daughter, who saved me after I attempted suicide, and it was right after she was born that I almost died. One does not become enlightened by imagining beings of light, but by making their darkness conscious. That's why, one of the reasons I say we're the only ones that have sovereignty over our own soul. That's why inner authority is so important, that we acknowledge that it's our souls that are creating our lives. And our souls together, everyone has a different concept of God, but our souls plan our lives, and we're all constantly communicating. We're all in this together to expand our emotional range. In order to do that, we had to explore our depths, because that's what catapults us to our heights.